On that point where you were talking about like how a lot of people say HBCUs don't prepare you for the real world. I feel like they really just do. Like in the real world, you are so on guard as a black person or as
Yeah.
a person of color, like Hispanic or whatever. Like you're so on guard all the time. You gotta like see who you looking behind your back, seeing who you can trust. You vetting your white friends. Like I shouldn't have to like sit here and be like, "Are you a Trump supporter? Like, are you
Yeah.
this? Are you like?"
Yeah.
It's just like we so on edge. Like there's so much like racism in this country. It's like
Yes.
you just feel like you can't trust people. And with the HBCU, they give you that environment where you just can relax, release, and just like I said, just have that education. Like have that tunnel vision. Like man, I'm here to get my education. I'm here to like grow and do all that I can so that when I do go into the real world like I'm prepared for those types of attacks and that type of environment.
Welcome back to the You Feel Me podcast. It's your boy Duffel. And y'all pretty much know everybody else. We got Jaren, Wall, and Keandre. But today we're joined by another guest here. A great day for her to be here with it being International Women's Day. The lovely Kirsten.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
So today we're doing kind of a interview type podcast today. I knew Kirsten. Well, me and my brother knew Kirsten from school. We both went to the illustrious Prairie View A&M University, and we were good friends in college. And she has a very interesting story that she's gonna share with y'all today. And we have a couple questions to ask for her. So I want to spark it off with the first question and ask you, can you explain a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So again, thank y'all for having me on this podcast, especially on International Women's Day. So my name is Kirsten. I am originally from Lake Charles, Louisiana. That's where most of my family lives. If you want some good gumbo, you want some, A2F, I got you. But I moved around a lot in Texas. Like my mama got like had different jobs growing up, so I've lived in like different parts of Dallas. I lived in Houston. Now I live in Austin. And I went to Prairie View A&M University, as Twin said, and I majored in political science, had a minor in English, and I graduated from there. Took a year, a gap year between, graduating from Prairie View. I applied to law school during that year, and I got accepted into the schools that I applied to, and I chose to attend the University of Texas School of Law here in Austin. So I'm here now, first year law student in my second semester, grinding it out.
That's definitely great. The next question that we have is kind of like dealing with your educational background, but you pretty much covered that. You graduated from Prairie View, and now that you're in law school at the University of Texas. So to the next question.
Uh, yeah. So when did you know you wanted to go to law school? Was it kind of something you just had? Was it a situation where that's what you want to do all your life, or did you go through high school or college and realize that was what you wanted to do?
Yeah, so I don't know if y'all remember, but in like elementary school we had these like time machine little capsules that we made and we had to say like, what we wanted to be when we grew up, what was our favorite color, like our favorite animal, all this other stuff. And I remember finding mine like back in like high school and it said that I had wrote down that I wanted to be an attorney. So I wanted to be an attorney like literally my whole life since like kindergarten, first grade. But that back then the reason I wanted to be an attorney is because I like to argue. And so of course now like the reason why I want to be an attorney has like progressed and it's matured. Now it's, the social inequalities in the legal field. It's only 2% of the legal field are black women. I'm a big person when it comes to representation. I feel like people young Black girls should have, women who look like them. People should be represented by people who look like them, who know where they come from. Because, me as a Black woman, if I'm in a courtroom, if that's the type of law that I decide to practice, or, if I'm working on contracts, whatever type of law I do, people will see me as, somebody who has their best interest, whether you're white, Black, Asian, whatever. But I feel like that representation factors, and then like the social justice, social inequality factor as well. Like all of that plays, together of why, I want to be an attorney at this point in my life.
Yeah, you gave me chills with that answer. That was a great ass answer.
Yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
That was a good answer.
You went into the next question a little bit also there, but do you know what type of law you want to go into? Are you focusing on the social injustice side of it, or is there another particular field of law that you're looking into?
So I'm in between like criminal defense, prosecution, so criminal law, and then I'm also interested in like civil rights. So those are two separate things right now. So I'm doing internships during the summer to figure out like what I want to do. So this summer I have a job focusing on criminal law, and so next summer hopefully I'll have something focusing on like civil rights to see which path I'm going to take. But I don't see myself like working in a law firm behind a desk. I'm in this to, connect with the people, be on the ground, that type of legal practice.
And that's great. Like you really into the streets with it, and like
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, like I definitely think that's great. Like shit, I want to see a movie about you once you get up and do all this and everything like that. Like really, it's rare that you see someone like when they talk about something, you can actually like hear the passion in their voice about what they're doing. And I definitely hear that with you.
Bro, y'all gonna make me cry up in here. Don't do that.
It's a safe space. Go ahead.
Nah, y'all ain't gonna catch me slipping on this podcast.
But so with you going to an HBCU, graduating from HBCU, let me make that clear, and then also now you're going to law school at the University of Texas. That's an HBCU and a PWI.
PWI.
So, so I definitely want you to kind of compare the two, like the differences, the good of this versus the bad of this, those things. Just give us a little touch of that, because a lot of us have never experienced a PW. Well, I haven't experienced PWI, but a lot of us have never experienced both sides of it.
Right. And I was thinking about this question when you sent me the list of questions, and I can't really give you like my full on experience because we're in COVID. Like everything is online. School is so isolated. I feel like I haven't had the full UT experience where you going to the UT football games and all of this. Like they're still having football games, but you ain't about to catch me at one right now with COVID and stuff. But like I just feel like I haven't gotten that full PWI experience to really like compare the two. But what I will say is like I haven't like experienced any like microaggressions, racism, which was very shocking to me. But I think that I chose UT because of like its progressive nature. Like you're in Austin, Texas, it's a Democratic city. You have, the saying in Austin is like keep Austin weird. I feel like white people here go out of their way to be nice to Black people. Like I have that feeling every single time. I had visited here before I moved here. Like this is people here are really nice. Like they take Southern hospitality to a whole nother level. So I didn't expect, me to come to UT and have to deal with any type of like racism or anything. I would say like the first thing that I kind of encountered, and it wasn't even like a direct encounter, is that whole like the Eyes of Texas song that is being debated about right now. Like that's the first thing that I've seen. It's like, oh, it's a PWI shit right here. But I haven't, experienced anything like directly, or nobody's like said anything racist. Like I said in like class, when we're debating about cases that have something to do with racism, it's not even really a debate. Like everybody's on the right side of justice when it comes to those cases. Like nobody, you're talking slick, trying to debate the other side, playing devil's advocate. Like it's none of that. So I really appreciate, UT for not being racist, my classmates for not being racist, because that would make, the setting of learning very hard. Like I wouldn't even be able to focus if, I feel like I couldn't be around my classmates without them like saying some off the wall stuff.
Mhm.
I was gonna touch on that. But yeah, like Austin, like for people who like aren't in Texas, Austin, like people there are just different. Like it's hard to describe until you meet people who actually go to UT. But like you were saying, like you haven't encountered racism. I interned with two people from UT, and they're like the most pro Black Lives Matter. And it's not like when you think of wealthy white people, you think of Republican. And these people, their family have millions of dollars, and they're the most pro Black Lives Matter. So I definitely like I agree with you. Like people in Austin are just different. Like it's just something about them.
You
But
know,
yeah, I just want to throw that in.
that's very surprising to me because I would assume that it was the opposite. You know, and
Right.
not directly because of Austin. Like I don't know anything about Austin culture or anything like that. But like I say, a lot of racism in PWIs. And my cousin, she went to LSU, and like she experienced a lot of racism. Like you
Wow.
know, it made me mad. I want to fight type. You know, so like I just that's what I expected, but I'm glad you're not, you know, having to go through that and you're able to, you know, study and, you know, learn and, you know, get along with everybody, you know. But one more question I did want to kind of touch on, like with your classmates, because, you know, a lot of things that I heard about of why I shouldn't go to a HBCU is they were saying that, you know, you're around people that look like you. But when you go to the workforce, that won't be the case. So you won't be able to handle yourself. And I, you know, disagree with that then. And still, like, it's only like I only work with, you know, in my department directly, I don't work with nobody black. And I'm able to get along with everybody and, you know what I'm saying, you know, work as a team and everything like that. So I just want to, you know, hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that whole HBCUs don't give you the real world experience, I think is BS. I heard it a lot before going to PV, and it almost swayed me to go to because I was choosing between PV and Texas State. Thank God I chose PV. But man, like I am such a big advocate of HBCUs. I literally feel like PV changed my life. Like I really feel like they gave me the pride and the, you know, they helped me to see myself as a Black woman. Before I came to PV, I was surrounded by like predominantly white spaces. I grew up in the suburbs. I'm a suburban kid. And so those pocket of like Black people, you know, I hung out with mostly Black people during my upbringing, but I branched out and had white friends. But I experienced so many microaggressions and so many like, racist encounters to where like PV just felt like the right choice. Like when I went to visit PV just to see the campus, when they were giving us like the tour, me and my mom, I looked at my mom, I was like, man, this feel like it's like a family reunion or something. Like I don't even know these people, but it just felt like it was home. Like the first day I stepped on there, they joking with you. They like, talking about you. It's like, what shoes you got on? I'm like laughing. I'm like, who are you? Like, what's going on here? But like I was just taken back. So I'm like, bro, like I've never felt that other like from any other Black people other than like my family members. And so PV just gave you this sense of like pride and sense of identity that you will not get at a PWI. Like I don't care. People try to like say, oh, you can get the HBCU experience at a PWI. You don't, because with HBCUs, they don't treat you like you're a number. Like they treat you like you're an individual. And I honestly believe that like the experiences that I got at PV, I wouldn't have gotten anywhere else. And like I said, like it just gave me that sense of pride. And I feel like every Black kid needs that before they go out into the real world. I feel like if you don't get that, I mean, some Black kids grow up in like predominantly black spaces, so they don't really need that HBCU experience. But I just feel like you should be in some sort of space where you have professors who look like you. You have professors who are like pouring into you and, helping you grow and letting you know, hey, I know you looking around, you feel comfortable now, but we're preparing you for like the real world. And they really do prepare you for like being around white people and handling yourself and all this other stuff. And so honestly, I told my mama this the other day. I was like, man, when I have kids, either they going to HBCU or I'm not paying. Like, period, because that's just how much of an impact PV had on me. And I'm not saying you have to go to PV. You just got to go to HBCU because it's just so powerful. You see everybody catching on now. You see the end up, the NBA giving out scholarships to HBCU students. Like everybody's catching on. They get it now because they see like how much of an impact when you talk to HBCU students. It's like it's like a cult. Like people go to Howard. People go to Howard. They like Howard, like Bison. PV. We like PV. Like I bleed purple and gold. Like my mom's like, there's something weird about that. Like it's like literally every HBCU student. Like there's no pride like an HBCU student graduate pride. So sorry, that was a long ass answer for your question, but I'm so passionate about HBCU,
I love
bro.
dancing.
Like
I love dancing.
Yeah, I feel like you touched on like a lot of topics at the same time. It's nice to hear.
But one thing I wanted to say, I agree with the HBCU pride because me and my brother we're both HBCU ambassadors for Verizon, and basically like in mainly PVMU. So like we get to go back and help out students get internships, full-time jobs, things like that. And we're in a group of other people who went to HBCUs, and like their passion and fire for it is just so crazy. Like we have this one guy that went there. He went there in like 89 or something. He was on a basketball team or something, and like PV comes out his mouth every sentence. Like it's just so great. And to be honest, like I said, like I don't work with anybody Black directly, so I don't have that Black to Black interaction, which I'm fine with. But being with them, talking to them, like you said, it feels like a family. Like what I'm saying, like when we have those meetings and stuff with the other HBCU ambassadors, like it's just like I laugh, I smile, I feel like connected more so with them just because of that. It's hard to connect, without that, home feeling, that friend feeling, that family feeling. So it's definitely great.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing. On that point where you were talking about like how a lot of people say HBCUs don't prepare you for the real world, I feel like they really just do. Like in the real world, you were so on guard as a Black person or as a person of color, like Hispanic or whatever. Like you're so on guard all the time. You gotta like see who you looking behind your back, seeing who you can trust. You vetting your white friends. Like I shouldn't have to like sit here and be like, are you a Trump supporter? Like are you this? Are you like? It's just like we so on edge. Like there's so much like racism in this country. It's like you just feel like you can't trust people. And with the HBCU, they give you that environment where you just can relax, release, and just like I said, just have that education. Like have that tunnel vision. Like man, I'm here to get my education. I'm here to like grow and do all that I can so that when I do go into the real world, like I'm prepared for those types of attacks and that type of environment. Because you already know PV, like they tell you keep your receipt. Like they make sure like they really prepare you. Like you an adult. The first day you walk on there, you gotta go in that financial aid office, baby. You an adult. You can't call your mom and be like, oh, the financial aid office. No, you gotta deal with that. So it's like you dealing with adult stuff. But you got like mentors, like like guiding you throughout the way. Like I have so many mentors that I met through TV that I'm still in contact with, and like they're still guiding me like after I've graduated. So I just want to say that last little piece. Like HBCUs are like safe spaces, and like that whole I've seen the argument saying like why do we still need HBCUs? Because you see what's going on. Like
that's something
you know
that
what I mean.
We should not try to get rid of.
We should not get rid of HBCUs. No.
Yeah. Just to add two things to that, just a little bit off topic, two things I want to say. First, I want to say is a lot of people get the wrong idea if I was listening out here that hear about PV and they be like, oh, it's a party school. It's not. I mean, they have parties. That's any college, but to say it's a party school, it's not. Like people come to PV thinking that it's gonna be like a easy or a breeze, and it's not. You have to buckle down. You have to be serious, or you're not gonna make it. So like just understanding that when you come to these HBCUs, like any college to me. Any college, yeah, but just for HBCUs in general, they try to say they're party schools or whatever. And the second thing I want to say is that I feel like my HBCU gave me the confidence to feel like, because one thing you talked about was vetting your white friend and stuff like that, and like feeling on guard. I feel like PV gave me that where I feel like I can walk into a space and feel like I'm better than or I'm just as good as my white peers, and that's to me that's big because a lot of people be like, oh man, they probably went to this school so they might be better than me, but no, that's not the case. Like you're gonna be prepared, and I feel like that pride that you get from graduating is great, in my opinion. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. And I just want to add on one thing before we move to the next topic is, like you said, like, you know, I graduated from PV and I'm good at my job. I'm really good at my job. They prepared me for my job. You know what I'm saying? So like I can do anything anybody else can do. And like it don't matter where I went to school. I could have graduated from anywhere. Like I got that type of confidence in myself from PV. You know what I'm saying? Because I can learn. I can do those things. But yeah, like you said, I wouldn't trade my HBCU experience, you know, for anything in the world. Like my kids going to HBCU as well. So yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I think you brought up an interesting point because, like, you said something that I didn't even realize that I was feeling. Because, like, me and Walt went to UH, so not a HBCU at all, you know. And like you said, I would walk into classes and like my first class at UH, I walked around into the class and I looked for one black person. And like, okay, that's where I'm sitting right now. And it was crazy because like you said that and it just brought up all those memories. Okay, like who can I talk to in this class? All right, how is he gonna react when I say this? Or like, you know, how are these people gonna be with me? You know what I mean? So like it's crazy that just brought up everything that I didn't realize I was going through. You know?
I
Most
think
definitely.
meeting Tim was a really good thing. I think our junior year, Keandre got a really close black friend, and I got a really close Vietnamese friend. So I mean, obviously I'm not black, so the feelings y'all are talking about, I mean, I feel the same way, but towards Asian. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
A lot of my classes, like I was like either the or one of the only black people in the classroom.
Right.
Like conversations I would have in that classroom or conversation they would have I would have like no connection to. So I think that
Appreciate you like
HBCU
that.
experience is like very important for those situations, you know.
Most definitely.
Um, 7. Yeah, Keandre.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you talked on this a bit, saying that you know being a black woman, you wanted to represent, you know, be someone that little girls can look up to. But did that push you to become a lawyer even more? Like the lack of black women in the field, or the lack of black people within the field in general. Like, does that
Yeah.
drive you more?
Yeah, I feel like that's you know, it's a motivating factor.
Hmm.
To know that I'm not trying to like strive to be like the one and only black woman in you know, this space. Um I definitely like going through my experience in law school so far, like I know for a fact I want to mentor, you know, incoming black law, you know, law students who are coming to UT or going to any law school because this shit is not for the weak. Like people tell you, like that, like law school is going to be hard, and you're like, okay, you know, what's hard, you know? But you gotta realize you in a room with every top 10 student, like
Hmm.
everybody was top of their class. So it's like, you know, when you're in university, you with like, you know, different intellectual groups. Not saying nobody's stupid, like just everybody has like their own like experiences, their own like education levels or whatever.
Yeah.
But and you have those moments in the university classroom where you feel smart. Like you know, I
Yeah.
would raise my hand, I would answer a question, and the professor would be like, "Oh, it's a really good answer, kids." And I'm sitting here like, wasn't it? Like, wasn't it? Like feeling myself. And law school, like I was talking to my mentor yesterday. I was like, man, like I don't think I've heard the words "I don't get it" at all since I've been here. Nobody likes to admit that they don't understand anything because nobody wants to be the one who looks stupid, or you don't want to be the one who looks like you don't understand the material, because it's this culture in law school where you should understand. You're at UT Law, like you're at a top 15 law school. You were smart enough to get here, so you should understand everything we're saying the first time we say it. Like it's just that culture, and it's like very toxic. Like, and I understand why people be so damn depressed, why they drop out, because this type of environment, it'll like have you feeling like it'll break you back down just to build you back up. And I feel like my last semester I was definitely broken down. Like it was like I remember saying like I was mad at myself because I'm the reason I'm here. Like nobody put a gun to my head and said go to law school. Like I put myself here. So it was just like it was a really rough experience, and COVID on top of everything. Like you don't really have those people. You can't, you know, I don't know. You can't really go out for drinks and be like, girl, like I'm stressed. Let's go out. It's harder to make friends. Like it's just a lot. Like the COVID experience, with the first year law school experience has been like just really rough. And so knowing what I've been through, I want to, uplift that black girl, black dude, white male. Like, it don't matter what your color is. I just know this shit is hard for everybody. So I just want to be like a mentor for somebody, some person that's starting law school in the fall of 2021 we're in right now. Yeah, 2021.
Okay.
So I kind of have a question. Number 8, but I kind of want to ask you in a different way. Do you have anyone like that you look to, like in the political / law world, that you kind of had your eyes on? Like, this is the person I kind of want to be like, or kind of person that like a what would you call it? Like a hero type person, like someone that was like they're in this world. I want to be in this world too, type stuff. Like like some kids, for instance, how we asked you how representation matters. Like little girls want to be a little girls see you and like that. Like, was there anybody like that for you?
I can't pinpoint a specific like leader, but I will say reading about Black leaders like Angela Davis, Alice Walker, of course, like Malcolm X, and just reading about those stories, and like watching documentaries like that type of stuff like hypes me up. Like, I'm like, man, like they really out here fight. Like we really had like Black leaders who were fighting for our liberation, and like we don't see that anymore. Like there's not. I don't feel like we really have like those Black civil rights leaders. Like I just feel like we've just gotten kind of comfortable. Like, oh, we out here chilling now. Like, but it's so much work that still needs to be done. And I'm not saying there's nobody out here, because there's plenty of like organizations, plenty of like grassroots leaders, politicians, every politician not corrupt, but it's, I can't pinpoint just like one person, but I just feel like I've had a lot of mentors and a lot of people who have, passed that torch to me and who have poured into me that, if they didn't, I wouldn't be where I am today. Yeah. So I can say that. Like I said, I've, talked about some people at PV. I don't know if y'all knew Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson, his wife, like Judge Jackson, and several people at PV, several just mentors. I would say mentors are people who, kind of have guided me and pushed me. But when it comes to like a woman who's an attorney, I can pinpoint and look at her. No, not really. Okay. I should look that up. Maybe that'll give me some motivation.
Find a guy.
Well, because the original question was like how you felt about specifically Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris, but I was thinking like they really weren't in the spotlight. I guess the spotlight when you were younger to kind of like give you that motivation. So I was wondering like did you have anyone in mind?
Yeah, I mean my family told me that like I reminded them of like Condoleezza Rice. And I didn't know who that was until like I grew up. So I was like, who's Condoleezza Rice? Like, who is that? I thought that's just like a Black lady who worked for Bush. And I'm like, y'all want to compare me to her? But I mean, like, it's Black women in like different spaces who are doing like amazing things. But yeah, like I said, I can't really pinpoint. Michelle Obama, she's great, but I'm not about to sit. I can't sit here and say like, oh, like that's my inspiration, because I don't really know her story in full. I don't know Kamala's story in full for me to like really just be motivated by it.
That makes sense.
For the next question, I'm sure like being around law and studying law so much, like it's kind of might have like shaped how you look at things. Did you look at the Black Lives Matter protests or everything that went on this past summer in a different way because of that, or like do you have like any certain insights that you might think was unique to yourself, or were you with the majority in the thoughts for it?
No, I don't think that anything has like changed my outlook on it. If anything, like learning about the law and how racist it is has, pissed me off even more.
That's what I would think, that you would see certain loopholes that would like be like, oh, this is made to like hold Black people down or something.
Yeah, like the Constitution in itself isn't like what we were taught that it was. Like, there's just so many, like, I don't know. Like when I started, like, I was in constitutional law last semester, we would read cases and these judges would straight up say like, "Oh, this nigga can't." Can I say nigga on here?
Oh,
You can say
we was waiting for you. I thought we could.
I don't know what platform this is. I don't know.
Nah,
But
you said go ahead.
N-word.
I told him, I said, like, you know, we're gonna go off of you basically. Like, we're gonna try not to cuss and say, you know, nigga and everything like that. But if you fine with it, then hey, yeah.
Okay,
I've been shaking, holding back from saying it.
I was gonna say N-word.
Say it, yeah.
It's been on my lips this whole time.
They said in court, like this is what these white judges were saying. Like, you are not a human. You are a piece of property. You cannot come to this court and sue your slave owner because you are not a human. And so, like, when I'm reading cases like that, and I don't know, it's just, these are court cases. Like, this is the Supreme Court of the United States saying this. This is not like just like this little racist town. Like, this is like the government saying this. I don't know if y'all watched like that movie with it was about the COINTELPRO issue with Fred Hampton.
Nah.
Y'all saw that movie?
What's it called?
Are you talking about the one that recently came out?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she's talking about the Fred Hampton one. Isn't that like the Black Messiah or something?
Yeah.
The Black Messiah?
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I want. It's on my list.
Oh, y'all go watch that ASAP. But that just stories like that, bro. I'm like, bro, that really pisses me off. Like, we really, like, that's why I feel like I'm torn, because I'm like, I don't trust the government, but I'm also trying to work for the government.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like, how am I, like, I don't know. I'm like trying to be this revolutionary, but also at the same time, like, man, I need a job. Like, I don't know. But
that's how you change it from the inside.
but I don't even know if you can change these systems. Like, I don't. At this point, it's like, can you change these systems? Like, are these changeable? Like, I feel like at
right
this
now,
point, like,
I feel like right now, for a person in your position, changing it probably won't be what you can do, but you can basically be a helping hand for people. Like, you can be a fair hand for people of color, you know, right now, until there is someone who can come along, or a group of people who come along and break it. Because it'll never be changed at this point. It'll only be kind of put a Band-Aid over it. But I mean, that ain't helping out a lot, you know, in person. So
honestly, when you said you wanted to go into like criminal law, that's what I was thinking. Like, there's a bunch of, you know, Black people who may not have the opportunity to get like a good lawyer, or, you know, somebody to explain the situation to them or explain these laws to them. So like, I can see you going into the position of that, you know, where like just educating people on their rights, you know?
Most definitely. So, yeah, I don't even remember the original question, but I'm sorry.
I think you answered it.
Yeah, sorry, y'all.
Sure. Definitely answered it. There was a question I wanted to ask, but I'm not going to ask it. I want to ask something a little differently. But it was basically like, you know, males in your profession, right? Like, do you ever do the males do you feel like the males in your, you know, school and you know, males you should encounter in, you know, other classes that you had, like, do you feel like they treat you as an equal, or do you feel like they kind of make you feel, or not make you feel, but they seem like they are superior to you? Like, they be trying to mansplain shit to you and stuff like that.
Oh, mansplain.
Bro, I would
say they definitely have like confidence. Like, I feel like women have this issue where we kind of, like, I don't know if y'all ever been on a Zoom call and somebody's like a man. Well, y'all are men, but like, women do this thing where like a man will be talking and then like we'll say something and the man will start talking and we'll be like, oh no, you go ahead. And then they'll just start talking. Like, it's like we're always like stepping back to let them talk. I've noticed that a lot, and I've noticed that like men just have like this confidence about them. Like, they can be like completely wrong, but like they gonna say that wrong ass answer with their chest. Like, and if the professor is like, no, not quite, they'll try to like re-explain, like, oh, this is gonna be right. Whereas women are like, you know, we kind of like, you know, just kind of like tread back once we're told that something is wrong, or we kind of like, okay, like, just very like hesitant, very like, you know, I don't know, we second guess ourselves a lot. I've noticed that, but as for, I can't really blame y'all men for being confident. Like you should be. You shouldn't be, waiting on the next person to say something and you say something after. You just, I don't know. I haven't had any issues with like men being like over dominant and talking over me and telling me I'm wrong and stupid or whatever like that. Like I haven't had those issues, but I don't talk to a lot of men anyway. So
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. I wonder, once you do graduate and you get into the workforce where you experience it more or even at all. I really hope not at all. Because, personally growing up, like I grew up around a lot of men who do feel like they're superior to women and have, have thoughts about women. But, I don't think like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I think more so things are just a person thing as far as that's their specific personality, whether they're a man or a woman. And you know what I'm saying? Like my fiance is a lot better than me in a whole lot of things. So, I just feel like, that whole stigma behind males are better or whatever, and another thing too, like, I feel like this. If you're a man, be confident with everybody. Don't just, what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to be an asshole to everybody. Don't just like, in front of women, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, now I'm this big bad dude in front of women. If that's your personality, be that in front of everybody because that's different than you trying to, belittle women. So, yeah, to the men out there that's like that, don't do that.
Okay, next question. You touched on the fact that way back when you wanted an attorney because you like to argue. Now you're in law school, and you mentioned last semester was super hard for you. With that said, if you could redo your life, redo your education based on what you experienced thus far, would you stick to the career path you're on? Would you do anything differently?
nah.
See,
I
that's
feel
a
like
Badass.
I'm right where God placed me, man.
Right.
I'm where I'm supposed to be.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's a good question. And one thing I would say, I would definitely switch. I would switch my career. I felt like I'm in IT, you know what I'm saying? Like, computer software engineering, all that crap. But like I feel like that does nothing for the world, nothing for black people. Like I was telling my fiance this, like if I could start over, I would go into law or like being a doctor or something that can help better affect the people that look like me. Cause like you said, like, everything is designed against black people. You know what I'm saying? The medical system, the law system, everything is designed against black people, whether people want to admit it or not. It's just true. So I feel like, as I grew up and going to, PV, it made me look at things a lot differently. Like, what can I do for the world? And I've been thinking, like, what can I do in my space for, people that look like me and better our lives? And I haven't came up with nothing yet, but I know if I could change it, I definitely would.
I feel like there's space for you to like change lives in IP. Like, um, like I don't know what you just described. Like, reminded me of this thing when I had like intern in DC, and there was this whole like issue with Amazon. They were doing like face recognition, but like they tested the face recognition on some of the Congress people, and they had matched them with like ex-cons, like felons or something. Like, and it was like majority of the faces that were being matched with like felons were like black or people of color. And so like there was like this whole like issue with, why aren't black people in these spaces like creating this type of technology? There's obviously like some bias, when they're creating this. So I don't know, that kind of reminded me of that. And I know like people, you can always like start like a scholarship fund or something like that for black students trying to get into like IT,
like
STEM
education
programs,
a lot.
stuff like that.
And that's funny you said that because me, Wall, and Jaren, and I don't know if Keandre, you was talking about it with us. Like we were always talking about doing something like that where we give a scholarship to someone from our hometown, to help them, further their education. But yeah, I definitely think that definitely makes sense. I never thought of it like that. And then the whole like facial recognition thing, like a black person being there would say like, nah, this ain't right. We need to redo this or think this. But if there's no black person there and it's predominantly white people, they just gonna push it and be like, oh, it's fine.
I think the thing with that is that they don't really test black faces. Like when they design this thing, it's like with how we talk about with games, where like you go into a game and there's only like 3 black faces and 3 black hair dudes. They don't design this stuff for like black characters or
Mhm.
characteristics. Like it's mostly like white
It's like they
characteristics that
designed
they
it
look
for
at.
them. So like we have
Yeah.
to be like the way I look at it. Like you have to have someone, a person of color or a black person specifically in every area, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So
To
like we
put their
definitely
input
need people
in.
in IT and law, cops and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because I know a lot of black
Mhm.
people be like, how could you be black and a cop? But I don't agree with it. I feel like we need those people in those spaces as well. So I definitely feel like it's big. I agree. And have y'all seen that thing on Twitter where how like when you see a tweet but you don't open a picture, it picks like something to kind of show like in the little square. And then there was a thing where they had a black person and a white person. They moved them around, but every time the Twitter algorithm chose the white person to show first. And Twitter made a statement about like it's not a racial, that's our algorithm or something, but that's BS. You see there's an issue with that. So you need to fix that, So I definitely agree with that. I never thought of that though. That's definitely a great insight.
There's a science behind it for sure.
Yeah. But I was just looking at the next couple of questions, and you pretty much hit them on the head. The next couple, so I kind of want to skip to my last question would be the cool experience so far you had at a PWI. But I was just thinking like you really haven't had the PWI experience, so yeah. I guess the next best question would be number 15. Wall.
Yeah. So, after you finish law school, um, do you have any goals? Is there anything you have right now that you're looking to accomplish? Personal, career, whatever.
Like, my goals keep changing. So who knows? Like by the time I'm here for 3 years, who knows what they'll be? During my third year of law school. So yeah, I don't really. I'm kind of just like giving up on like trying to be like, because I used to be like this person where like I set a goal, I have to accomplish it. If I don't, I'm gonna beat myself up about it. But like I just gotten to the point where I'm like, man, like obviously there's certain things that weren't meant to be. There's certain things that are meant to be, and you know, everything is everything. So I'm just kind of like going with the flow, trying to like experience everything that I can while I'm here, so that I can have like this more knowledgeable, more just being more confident about my decision post grad, just based on like the experiences that I've had like, during my 3 years. So yeah, I'm not sure yet, but I will keep you updated.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great.
One question I had, you want to go, Karen?
I was gonna say something else about it, but you go ahead.
Oh, if it's on that topic, you can go ahead.
What I was gonna say is like I definitely think that that's a great mindset to have, like not beat yourself up about those things. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like when I first went to college, I was the same way. Like what I'm saying, I feel like I put my own self down in certain situations where it wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying? Like what's gonna happen is what's gonna happen. And at the end of the day, I got confident in myself that I'm gonna be successful. You know what I'm saying? I might take some hits on the chin, but at the end of the day, I'll overcome it. So I definitely think that's great and a great way to think about things. Like let's stop beating up ourselves because society says if you don't succeed in every way or every little thing, like it's wrong. Like no, man, everybody make mistakes, everybody go through things. You know what I'm saying? So that is what I want to say. I think that's a great take.
No, definitely.
What I was gonna ask was, is there ever anything that made you feel discouraged or uncomfortable within like any of your college experiences?
Oh, and plenty of times.
Uh,
I think my most recent, like before I got to law school, I told you I took like a gap year between graduating from PV and coming to UT. But during my senior year, I had taken my LSAT for the third time. The LSAT is the test that you have to take in order to come to law school. And I hadn't gotten a score that I wanted. Like, no, I had taken it a second time my senior year. And so I took it a third time during my gap year. But I remember my senior year, like I went into my like mentor's office. I started like busting out crying. I'm like, man, like this test is like beat my ass. Like I can't get the score that I need. Like, and I found myself like being so caught up in all the extracurricular activities that I was involved in at PV. And I started regretting it. I'm like, man, like I should have really just been like selfish my last year. Like I shouldn't have been so involved in like all this stuff. But looking back, if I wasn't involved in that stuff, I wouldn't have that on my resume to have been here, like gotten into UT. because it wasn't my score that got me here, obviously. Like, I didn't have the score to get here, but I had like a phenomenal resume. I had, experiences that set me apart from other applicants who might have had a higher, LSAT score. And my GPA was high because I was focused on my grades my last semester. So I started like thinking about, all the things that, I was regretting that my senior year, that got me to where I am now. And I think like for me, like I was always worried about like timing. Like I wanted to hit this mark by this time in my life. I want to be a lawyer by 25. Like I want to, like it was like I was putting age on everything, and it's like why, why? And so yeah, like that whole senior year, I was beating myself up. I remember at my graduation party, people were asking like, "What's the next step? What's the next?" Look, I'll let you know when I know. Like, and like the elders be on one, man. They be like, "Oh baby, no, I just thought you was about to go to law school." You like, they make you feel bad and stuff. It's like, dang, like, can I chill? Can I chill? Like, I've been in school my whole life. Can I have a year off? And so that's kind of how I looked at it. Then I was feeling bad because I was living with my mom. I'm like, man, I'm a bum. Like, I was just feeling like horrible. I was feeling all types of bad. But like that, like I said, like looking back now, like there's a reason that I didn't go straight into law school. I probably wouldn't be where I am now. Like I probably would have settled on any type of school, just based on like just rushing my applications, knowing that I didn't put my best foot forward. So yeah, that's a moment where like I was like just real down bad during that time. But now, once those acceptances started coming in, that's when I was like, oh, okay, like there's a reason I had to take this gap year, take a moment, and then also like just having that year to like just mentally get myself together, because when you're like on go, it's so easy to like burn out. And I feel like by my senior year, like I was burnt out. And if I would have went straight into law school, like I thought this last semester was hard, I probably would have like crashed and burned because I didn't take a moment to just kind of like chill and let my mind rest.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. And so our next question, like, because like I said, you answered a lot of questions when you were talking. And so the next thing I wanted to jump to, Jaren, would be your last questions on the list.
Oh, the close friends to PBWI?
No.
The
24.
Origin story.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is a question that we want to ask. We've asked pretty much everybody that come on the podcast. It's like, I guess, our thing, I would say. So we all talked about our origin stories individually in an earlier episode. And basically our origin story is like kind of what made you you. You're really a positive person, upbeat person. Like you said, you was involved in a lot. But like, what do you think, I guess, made you? If you could pick out something, like what is the origin of Kirsten?
Can y'all give me an example? Like y'all tell me y'all.
All right, so for instance, I said my origin story probably be what kind of made me me was like, I'm short, and throughout my sports, and like when I was younger, high school, junior high, all that kind of stuff was basically like being like people didn't expect me to be as good as I was, or people kind of undermined me pretty much my whole life. So having the confidence I have now, and like I pretty much do anything, was always what would be like my origin story would be basically like people doubting me, like basically overcoming all that kind of stuff, and like showing out basically when people didn't expect me to, like basically being an underdog pretty much my whole life. So I would say that was my origin story. That's kind of what made me who I am.
Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I need some more examples.
I would say
I need some more examples.
My example would be like, a lot of people don't notice about me because I kind of played it off, but like I had like really low confidence in myself. Like I never wanted to be number one. You know what I'm saying? I was always cool being number two. I wanted to be good enough, but just not the best. And similar situation, like in sports, I ran track, which is an individual sport, and like I was good at it. And like just seeing that myself, I was good at it, gave me a lot of confidence. And you can't tell me nothing now. You can't tell me I can't do nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm good at what I do. I'm good at everything I do. You know what I'm saying? Like I got, confidence that's borderline conceited in some aspects.
So, I would say that's kind of like my origin story where like, my life kind of changed for the better once I realized like I can be number one. There's nothing wrong being number one. I'm not afraid of this. Like I'm made for this,
Bars.
Facts.
I
I'll see.
think I think mine's a little similar. So growing up, I have a bigger brother, and he's like one of the smartest people that I know, and he was always the smartest person back then too. And so constantly having to live up to the pressure of teachers comparing me to him, coaches, and then my mom, of course. So I was busting my butt in school and tried smartest guy around. And you might know from twins, we went to a small high school. So going to college, I my mom pick between lawyer, doctor, engineer, and I chose the fastest one. So going to engineering school, facts, and like coming from a small school and like orientation, all these smart people who had taken, junior level classes like calculus 3, and I'm like, I haven't even taken calculus 1, so I felt kind of like Karen said, I felt like I wasn't good enough. Like there was a lot of doubt. Um, and then and I've always had that doubt because family pressure and whatnot. But you go through college, and for me personally, I busted my butt. Like I studied so much, and it got to a point where at the beginning I was asking questions and I was like very unsure of myself. And it got to the point junior, senior year, all these people, I carried a 30-year-old man who graduated college already to another degree. I was helping all my other friends who came from these huge 5A, 6A schools. They were coming to me for questions. So getting that confidence, and I think that's like my origin story, just gaining a lot of confidence in understanding that I shouldn't be underestimated. And I still lack confidence, especially because work, it's kind of that whole experience over again. But being able to gain confidence and feel good about yourself, I think that's my biggest thing.
Well, they took everything good, but for me, I came from like a low income family, and I was like the oldest of all my siblings, which I have damn a lot. But one thing is just like I always wanted to do enough to help everyone else out below me, so that always pushed and motivated me to do anything really, just try my hardest.
Say my origin story. I just want to say this is beautiful. Like, wow, this is so beautiful. Like men just talking about their feelings. Like,
Oh, you should have been
this
here.
is
What
it
was it,
right
2 days
here.
ago?
You
Yeah.
missed the
Oh,
last
we
the
just
last
Funny.
one
spoke
was
about
good.
that
The
one.
last episode we talked about the whole topic behind men opening up and why we don't share our feelings and everything. And I would say we do. And even in that podcast episode, I'm starting to see like a lot. All of us are very similar, and like we low key a little emotional, like
I'm
on the
super.
low. So
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's beautiful. I'm gonna send me that last video so I can drink some wine and cry or
Oh wait,
something.
it aired tonight, didn't it? Didn't it just air?
Oh, it drops
Thursday.
tomorrow actually. Drops tomorrow.
Is
Yeah.
it
Oh,
tomorrow? Okay.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Oh,
7 p.m.
Oh, bet I'm gonna tap in. Oh, man, while y'all was talking, like, for real, I really appreciate y'all telling me that. But I guess my origin story, like, I'm a people pleaser. And I'm still like kind of working on that. And I guess I just didn't realize how much of a people pleaser I was until like recently. Like, I feel like last semester, I was like, man, like, I'm really trying to like live up to other people's standards. Like, for example, my mom is already proud of me, but I feel like I'm continuously like pushing myself beyond limit, you know, to please her, you know? And it's
Mhm.
like she's already told me she's proud of me. So like why am I feeling the need to like do the most? Um and yeah, I don't know. It's just like I'm just a people pleaser. Like I'm always like trying to, I guess account for like other people's like vision of me or how people view me. And
Mhm.
like I'm disappointed when they're disappointed. Like, oh Kirsten, I never thought you would do something like that. Like what? Like I mess up too. Like I don't I'm not perfect. I'm not,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm definitely still working on that. I haven't overcome my, I guess origin story like y'all have. Like I'm still the grind of that, trying to work that out.
It's
So
great
you
that you
Work
know
in
that though.
progress,
Like a lot
man.
of people,
yeah, it's always in
talking over
progress.
everybody. But I was saying it's great that you know that. A lot of people really don't know, like, what's their thing, So the fact that you know that and you can like work towards that is really good.
I was going to ask you, what do you do to work on that?
Man, I think I just started saying like no. Like honestly,
Mhm.
I haven't been asked to do a lot this past semester. Like I have, I guess before coming to law school, because people know I'm in law school, so they don't bother me. But before then, like I was asked to do like everything. But like I'll give you an example. Like I feel like it was this one time like my mom was like disappointed in me for something that I did, and I felt like really bad about it at first. But then I was like, Mama, I'm grown. Like you and mom, like I was like, Mama, like I just 24. Like I was like, man, like I really just had like a real talk with her. I'm like, Mom, like I understand, like you don't agree with this lifestyle or whatever, what I chose to do, but I just had to like put my foot down. I was like, Mom, like I'm gonna live my life. Like I can't keep living my life for you, and like every time you say you're disappointed, I gotta change my ways. Like, nah, this is me. Like this is I got this big ass tattoo on my arm. I wanted to like go against the grain. Like in my head, I'm like, damn, like I'm always following the rules. I'm always trying to like, do the right thing. It's like, fuck it. Like I want to get this fucking tattoo. Let me do it. Like, and I was just feeling myself one day. Y'all know Courtney. Y'all know my best friend Courtney.
Yeah,
man, it was one day. Yeah, we was like, man, we had went to go get matching tattoos last semester, and she had got like hers was like small or something on her back. I was like, man, nigga, put it right here. Put it right here. Like I wanted to say, and my mama saw it. She was like, Kirsten, you cannot cover that up. You were about to be a lawyer. I was like, man, I ain't trying to hear none of that. I would do what I want to do. Like I was just feeling myself that day, and I had like a little regret afterwards. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to cover this up. Like, but I feel like I've accepted it. I'm like, bro, like I just need to start doing. Like I'm a spur of the moment type of person, but I feel like that's because I put myself in a box so much. Like I feel like I spaz out sometimes because I don't give myself grace. I don't give myself a chance to just be myself. Whoever that is, feel figuring that person out. But yeah.
I have one more thing if anybody else does.
I don't.
Or Courtney, like Courtney, right?
Yeah.
Courtney
that we
Foster.
know, right? Okay.
Courtney
okay.
Foster, yeah.
I haven't seen her or talked to her in such a long time.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to tell her to hit y'all up. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
for
hit twins up.
Well, my last thing, it's not even really like a question, I guess, but just more of like opening the floor to you. Like, is there any like experience, good or bad, that you just want to tell us about or just talk about? Anything that just come to mind?
No, I feel like I put it all out there.
All right. Well, that's pretty much the end of our questions. But for you specifically, do you have anything to promote? I know you have a YouTube, so what you got to promote?
Oh yes, I damn, what's my YouTube? I think damn, put me on the spot, Lord Jesus. It's just Kirsten Lene. It's my name on here. The people can't see my name. I don't know, but that's me right now, y'all. Kirsten Lene.
On YouTube, right?
KIRSTENLANAE. On YouTube, yeah. I just go on there.
Put it below.
Okay, appreciate that.
No free promo, $100 plus 1 minute of advertising.
But yeah, this is this definitely was great. I learned a lot. I feel like the people gonna love this one. I feel like, man, like you gave us some real raw, talk. It was great, motivation. You motivated me to get out here and do some more shit with my life type shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for real, I feel like I ain't doing enough. You out here hustling and grinding. I need to, get on your level, for real.
Nah, you doing enough, twin. You doing enough. Doing more than enough.
Now, I got to do a little bit more. I got to catch up to you. But we want to just thank you for giving us your time. We know you're busy and everything like that, and we really appreciate it. You was, I reached out to other people that I went to school with, and like, they didn't give me the time of day. You know what I'm saying? And you did, and I really appreciate that. And like, you really don't understand how much it means to me, because like I was down on myself. I was like, damn, like people that I thought like I would definitely at least reply to me didn't even say anything to me about it or anything like that. Because I love meeting people and talking to people and understanding their experiences and everything, and just seeing what they go through. Because like I said, like, people that grind, like, that motivates me. You know what I'm saying? To get off my ass and do something. So like I said, we really appreciate it. And yeah. Anything else? No. Okay. So yeah, this has been You Feel Me. Oh, one thing. Can you give me a You Feel Me?
Oh, like that?
Yeah.
You feel me? Like that?
There goes the free promo for you just because of that.